Hey there, welcome back to Tim Talks Cooking. Today we are talking Keto Seitan steaks, my friends. You heard me right, Keto Seitan steaks. We're making vegan steaks here, and I think they're going to be really good. I've got a recipe here from lovingitvegan.com, and I think it looks really interesting. I've never tried it before, so you'll be trying it with me here, but it's a meatless Monday here in Ohio, and I'm thinking, let's try something new. So let's get started. Here's what you'll need to make these really interesting vegan steaks. Start off with 1 3/4 cup of vital wheat gluten. It's also called seitan. You're also going to want a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, as well as a 1/2 cup of vegetable stock, a 1/2 cup of tomato paste. That's 4 ounces, by the way. Here we've got 2 tablespoons of tamari or soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, 3/4 cup of chickpeas, about a 1/4 to a 1/2 teaspoon of liquid smoke. You're also going to want some flavorings and some spices. Here we have a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon as well of smoked paprika, a 1/4 teaspoon each of ground cumin, ground coriander, and here I've got about a 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasonings and a 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, as well as a 1/2 teaspoon or so of kosher salt. I've also got a pint of my sugar-free barbecue sauce, which we'll use later on to marinate the steaks. We're going to begin by combining everything but the seitan and the barbecue sauce in the food processor. So in go the chickpeas. There's our Dijon mustard, the liquid smoke, the tamari, the vegetable stock, the tomato paste, the nutritional yeast, and all of our flavorings and spices. And we're going to give it a whoosh. So combine everything until it's smooth. And let's scrape it down once or twice as well. And what we end up with is a nice, smooth. Our next step is to combine this with the seitan. So we're just going to put it in there. Make sure we get it all out of the food processor bowl. The authors of the recipe I referred to tell us that we mustn't knead it too much. We don't want to do it for more than about 2 minutes. And here you can see it's already starting to firm up quite well. I'm going to start to use my fingers here. It's still soft and very messy. But as I'm doing this, I can feel it firm up right away. Oh yeah. Already it's not sticking to my hands hardly at all. That's pretty interesting. Okay, now we're going to turn this out onto our clean board. And we're going to knead it for about 2 minutes. Knead it just like bread. Now, the authors of our recipe tell us we don't want to knead this for too long. It'll get this springy texture. And that's pretty much it right there, I'm thinking. We don't really want to overdo it, because we want our seitan steaks to have a nice, firm, but tender texture. Next, we're going to cut it into 4 pieces that are more or less equal. As you can see, it already has a pretty firm texture. Now, our next job is to shape these into steak shapes, however we want to do that. I'm going to use my rolling pin. I'm going to press down on them. I want these to end up being about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch thick. And I'm not trying to fool anybody that they're steaks made with beef or something, but I do want them to have a certain shape. And there we go. I'm going to work with the other ones until we have roughly that shape. Next, we want to wrap each steak individually in aluminum foil. Just like this. Here I've got a vegetable steamer. You can see it's one pan that fits into another. This one has holes in the bottom. Let the steam go through. This one I put some water in. You can see my water's boiling here. We've got steam rising up out of there. I'm just going to go ahead and put our steaks right on in there. Just arrange them on top of each other like that. That'll be just fine. Put the lid on. And here's what we end up with. I've noticed they're pretty springy. They're hot. They're springy and they seem kind of soft. I hope they'll be tender and delicious, just like they say in the recipe. We'll find out. Now, here's where my recipe departs a little bit from that of the Loving It Vegan author, who I think adapted a recipe from another book. I'm going to put some barbecue sauce, that's my sugar-free barbecue sauce, in the bottom of a plastic dish, and I'm going to put this in there, add a little bit more on top. And now if you're going to eat all 4 steaks, go ahead and do each of them like this in a bigger dish, but I'm only going to eat one of them right now. And they recommend that you marinate them as you're actually going to cook them. So there we go. I'm going to let that marinate. I've been preheating the skillet over medium-high heat for 2 minutes now. Put a little olive oil in there. And let's go ahead and fry this little steak up. Shake off some of the excess barbecue sauce. We're going to leave some of that on there. We want that flavor on there. And we want that sizzle. I'm going to turn the heat down to medium so it doesn't burn. But we want to get a little color on this. And that's going to take... And here we go. You can see I flipped it over. We've got a little color on it there. You can get a little barbecue burn going on. I think that's going to be just delicious. Another 2 minutes and this will be ready to plate up. And here it is. Really, it looks quite good. It smells lovely. Nice barbecue smell. Cut through it. Doesn't seem to be too tough there. How it looks very much like steak. Well, all right, let's give it a taste. You know, just cutting it, it really does have the feel. It feels nice and tender. Mmm. This actually does have a great mouthfeel. Oh yeah, nice and tender and chewy, just like meat, pretty much. Now, can I tell it's not meat? Yeah, it really doesn't taste like meat. It doesn't have the fattiness of a steak, but I think it's just delicious. I really like the how smoky it is with that barbecue sauce and a little bit of charring I did on it in the skillet. Really delicious. I hope you'll try this recipe. And I also hope that you will like, share, comment, and especially subscribe to my channel. Helps my channel grow and helps you find my videos. Listen, thanks for joining us here today at Tim Talks Cooking. We'll catch you next time.